Again, everybody, we're back at the Keep Gym. It's the title game as the Rutland High Red Raiders go up against the Mounties of MSJ. The Mounties winning last night in the first-round matchup against Mill River, 51-38, and the Raiders downing Essex 67-56 in the first-round matchup last night to earn the shot in the title game. These two teams will play at least 3 times here in the title game of the Rutland Holiday Tournament at the Keep Gym, and also will play a week from tonight here at the Keep Gym in a regular season matchup. They'll meet down the line at MSJ, so they'll meet at least 3 times. The consolation game for third place tonight won by Essex 73-49 over Mill River. And we'll be back to talk about this matchup tonight from the Keep Gym. The title game, Rutland High and MSJ, as a good crowd is really filed into this place. We'll be back to talk about it along with Andy Rice after this 2-minute timeout.
Understanding the value of people. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Championship game matchup of the Holiday Tournament, the Keep Gym. Jack Healey, Andy Rice, our engineer, Bulldog Blair. The Rutland High Red Raiders under Coach Sid Thompson, and the Mounties of MSJ under first-year coach Leon Wood. The Mounties at 2-3. The Raiders now at 1-2 on the year. First off, for the Mounties, played well against Mill River last night. Went into a little bit of a lull in the third quarter. I know Coach Wood was not happy about that, Andy, but they recovered and won the game with relative ease. And on the other side, the Raiders with a very impressive win against Essex, the team that beat them last week.
Well, the Raiders did have an impressive win. I didn't see much of the first game I got here right at the end of it, but just looking in the scoring book, I think a key for MSJ to try to get Rogers the ball again. He had 22 points last night, so it was a big night for him, and I think he's the key to their offense. They've got to get him the ball, and I overheard Vince talking about a setup that they have offensively where he stands somewhere around the top of the key, and then he has 2 options. He can or 3 options. He can pass to the 2 guys down below, or he can shoot. So I think Rogers is definitely the key to the Mountie offense part. For the Raiders, they're a much more balanced attack. They had 4 starters in double digits last night. Siebertson led them all with 16, and Luke Barron had an impressive night last night. He was our MVP for the Raiders. He's the key, I think, to the Raiders offense, where he sets everything up. He's the point guard. He controls everything coming down the court, and I think for both teams, it'll be interesting to see. This is the first meeting for these guys this year. MSJ is a much improved team from last year, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play each other right off the bat. Rutland, I think, kind of struggled a little bit to start last night, and like you said, MSJ had a soft point in the third quarter, and that was Rutland's big quarter. That's when they turned it around on Essex and got everything going, so I don't think they can afford to have a letdown in the third quarter tonight, because you never know, that might turn out to be Rutland's quarter all year long, but still, I think the Raiders have to come out tonight a little more upbeat than they did last night to start the matchup.
All right, they're calling both teams back to their respective benches. Let's check the starting lineups. First of all, for MSJ, the visiting team in this one tonight, of course. Sean Keenan in the backcourt, a 6'1 junior. Starting alongside Jeremy Carroll, a 6'1 senior. Starting up front, Matt Rogers, a 6'2 senior. Joe Barasowski, a 6'1 senior, and Dan Collins, a 5'11 senior. So it's Keenan and Carroll in the backcourt with Rogers, Barasowski, and Collins starting up front for MSJ. For Rutland High, Luke Barron in the backcourt, a 6'1 senior. Starting alongside Jeff Sin, a 6-foot senior. Kyle Berquist starting up front, a 6'3 senior. Mike Siebertson, a 6'1 senior. And Jimmy Anagnos, a 6'1 senior. So it's Barron and Sin in the backcourt for the Raiders with Berquist, Siebertson, and Anagnos starting up front. The Raiders and the Mounties here in the championship game of the Rutland Holiday Tournament at the Keep Gym. Very good crowd. Certainly room for more, but people continue to file in for this start time that will be right around 7:50 or so. Again, the Raiders at 1-2, the Mounties at 2-3 on the year. Joe Davin and Reggie Colomb are the referees for tonight's game. MSJ being introduced by the public address announcer Chris Thayer. We'll be back with more in our pregame show after the 60-second timeout.
Hi, Wendy here from Snapple Natural Beverages. Today's letter is...
And now for your Rutland Red Raiders. and Mr. Reggie Cologne.
The consolation game getting underway at 5:30. Again, Essex winning over Mill River in the consolation game here tonight for third place as we get set for our national anthem before the start of this title game between Rutland High and MSJ. And I believe Jamie Ingalls here with the national anthem. Jamie Ingalls. In attendance, Johnny Wilkins and Donnie Woods. Donnie, class of, let me see if I can remember, Don. Class of 84, 85. Class of 85 at Rutland High. He's a trainer for the Albany Colony Yankees, and he's back here watching his alma mater in this holiday tournament. We'll see what happens. Looking forward to a good matchup. I'm one of those that say the more Rutland MSJ games, the better, and
I agree. I think that's what these tournaments are. They're made up. They try to get to obviously the outcome. They would like to see Rutland and MSJ in the finals, and that's how they're designed. And we're fortunate enough to have that matchup tonight.
The Raiders going left to right in the first half. The Mounties right to left, and Rogers will jump it up with Bergquist off the tap. It is won by the Raiders. Jimmy and Agnes with it. As a left sideline, stops out front now to Jeff Sin. Into the lane. Sin with the short jumper. He hits, and the Raiders draw first blood. Rutland leads it 2-0. The Raiders set up the full court pressure as Keenan comes into Dan Collins. Picked up in the backcourt by Bergquist. Back to Sean Keenan. Picked up by Luke Barron. Keenan into the forward court. Dribbles to the left and stops. Out front to Joe Beresowski. Beresowski dribbles to the right and stops. Looks around. Tenacious defense by Siebertson. On the cut to Rogers in the lane. Short jumper, no good. Rebound to Bergquist. Almost lost it, but he has it again and goes to Barron. Barron into the forecourt to Sin. Now to Anagnos at the right baseline. Drives baseline. Reverse layup up and in. Nice move by Anagnos, and the Raiders lead it 4-0. Rogers in the backcourt. Picked up by Anagnos. He goes to Collins. Collins dribbles into the forecourt, down the right sideline, dribbles right to left into the key, forces the jumper, it's no good, rebound goes out of bounds, and it goes off Sin, so the Mounties will control from the baseline. Jeremy Carroll gets set to put the ball into play for MSJ, just underway. The Raiders lead it early, 4-0, 7 minutes remaining first quarter. Carroll gets it in on the bounce, wanted to go to Beresowski, knocked away, stolen by Barron, restolen by the Mounties. Beresowski lays it in. The Mounties are on the board. It's 4-2 Rutland. Sin into the forecourt. And on the left wing, he goes to Bergquist. Bergquist on the bounce out to Siebertson, right side of the circle. Now into Sin. He wanted to go. Lost it back out to Siebertson along the sideline. Siebertson picked up by Collins. Both teams in the man-to-man. Out front to Barrett. On the left now to Jimmy and Agnes. And Agnes on the bounce to the baseline to Bergquist. Back to Anagnos. Out front now to Jeff Sin. Sin picked up by Carroll. Back on the left to Siebertson. With the sideline in the middle, on the bounce to the baseline to Anagnos. Spins, lays it up, and in, but it won't count. He was traveling. Traveling violation on Jimmy and Agnes, and MSJ will go on hoop in the backcourt. As Keenan looks to throw the ball into play, does to Collins up near midcourt, breaks the Raider pressure. The Raiders set up the full court pressure here. Pass intended for Keenan, stolen away by Barron, picking up where he left off last night. He lays it in. Barron laid it in left-handed. He had a huge night last night against Essex. Comes up with a steal and finishes off at the other end. Luke Barron, and Rutland goes up 6-2. Into the forecourt comes Dan Collins for MSJ. Picked up by Bergquist on the bounce. Left sideline to Keenan. Keenan picked up by Barron. Now to Rogers. Now to Collins, right side. 15-footer's good. Rutland 6, MSJ 4, 5:40 left first quarter. Sin with it to the key to the lane. Short jumper, no good. Rebound, Berezowski. Covers up and goes to Keenan. Keenan dribbles into the forecourt on Barron to the key, to the line, to the lane, lays it up, and in. It's going to count. He got fouled. John Keenan, an opportunity for a three-point play. He was fouled by Jeff Sin, his first, and that is the first on the Raiders. The bucket does count, and that ties it up at 6 apiece.
Nice end-to-end rush right there by Keenan. Took it strong to the hole and picked up the foul. Chance for the three-point play.
John Keenan, 6'1" junior for MSJ. His shot is up and good, and the Mounties lead at 7-6. Raiders started off quickly, and the Mounties have come back to take the one-point lead in the early going. Barron with it right sideline. Barron looking inside, dribbles toward the lane, lost the handle, scramble for the basketball. Barron gets it back again right side. Out front to Bergquist, right side of the circle. Bergquist on the bounce to Barron. Down low to Anagnos on Rogers, and he lays it in. Rutland leads at 8-7. Full court Raider pressure. Keenan throws it ahead now to Collins, breaks the pressure. On the bounce to Berezowski. Double pumps, lays it up, no good. Rebound goes to Sin. Sin into the forecourt down the middle to the key to the lane. Helter-skelter basketball. Sin is fouled. First team foul on the Mounties. And the foul is on Berezowski, his first. And again, the first on MSJ, and Rutland will control from the baseline. Pass comes in from Severson to Sin, out front to Barron. Back to Severson, right side up for three. No good off the rim. Rebound Anagnos in the lane. Fade away in the lane is good. Rutland 10, MSJ 7. 4:35 remaining first quarter in the title game of the Holiday Tournament. Here at the Keefe Gym as Collins dribbles into the forecourt for the Mounties. On the bounce to Carroll, right baseline. He lays it up, no good. Carroll the rebound. Double pumps, his shot blocked, but we got a foul against Jimmy Anagnos. Carroll will be at the line for two. The foul on Anagnos is first. That is the second on the team. Jeremy Carroll at the line for two shots. His grandfather, who had the best seat in the house last night in the front row, has the second best seat in the house. They moved him to the second row tonight. What happened? Jeremy Carroll's first shot is good. He'll get another. 10-8 our score. The Raiders lead it by 2. Second shot by Carroll is good. 2 free throws for Jeremy Carroll. Rutland 10, MSJ 9. Barron into the forecourt on Keenan. Barron to the key to the line of the lane. Short jumper, no good off the glass. Barron back up, no good. Rebound Sin. Back up, blocked by Rogers. Finally, it goes out of bounds off MSJ, and the Raiders will control for the baseline.
Luke kind of forcing things right there. The Raiders didn't really get a chance to set up their offense. He saw a lane and went for it, and it worked out to the Raiders' advantage. With
the left corner for the Raiders, Severson along the sideline, dribbles toward the middle, sends it out front to Barrett. On the left wing now to Kyle Bergquist. Bergquist now looking inside as he controls off the dribble. Almost lost the handle on the bounce down low to Anagnos, spins and lays it in. It's going to count. He got fouled. Jimmy Anagnos, an opportunity for a three-point play. The basket will count, and the foul is on Rogers. Number 1 on Rogers, number 2 on the Mounties. 12-9 Raiders.
Seems to me the objective for the Raiders tonight is to get the ball down low to Anagnos. He's the guy they've gone after so far tonight. He's got 8 points so far. Chance for the 3-point here to pick up his 9th point. I think they might try to be getting Rogers into some kind of foul trouble, though, because they have gone to him almost every time down the court so far.
Anagnos hits the free throw to complete the 3-point play, and the Raiders lead at 13-9. Raiders full court pressure. Rogers with it. Sends it ahead to Berezowski. Berezowski fouled by Bergquist. And here comes the entire new unit for the Raiders. Anderson, Pinney, Bliss, Trainer, and St. Peter for the starting 5. Barron, Sin, Bergquist, Severson, and Anagnos worked last night in the Raider victory over Essex. Sid Thompson going with that again tonight. 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. as Carroll goes to the lane, and we're going to whistle and a foul. The foul before was on Berquist, by the way, his first, third on the team, and this foul is on, what do they call this one on? This one is
Trainer.
On Trainer, his first, and that is the fourth on the team, as Abel is in for Beresowski for MSJ. Jeremy Carroll gets set to put the ball into play from the baseline for the Mounties. Bounces it into Abel, now to Keenan, down the baseline. Scoops it up, no good. Rebound is controlled by the Raiders. So it came down to Brent Bliss. Ahead now, it goes to Penny, right sideline. Cross court to Trainer. Now to Bliss, left sideline. To Ben Anderson, 14-footer, bang. Ben Anderson comes in to hit the jumper. It's 15-9. Rutland up by 6. Rogers down the middle to the key to the lane. Dumps it for Abel, and Abel lays it in. It's going to count, and he got fouled. Kyle Abel, an opportunity for a three-point play. Already the Raiders with 5 team fouls. And that foul is on Ben Anderson, his first. So Abel at the line for 2, 15-11. Rutland by 4.
I think that's the situation MSJ wants to get into. That was the one Vince was talking about last night, where Rogers comes to the top of the key. He can either shoot or dish off. That time he dished off to Abel. He got the bucket to go and the foul.
Missed the free throw. Rebound goes to Brian Penny. Penny throws it into the forecourt for Bliss. Bliss near the left sideline. Back out to Brian Penny. Halfway between the circles. Dribbles once. Goes on the right now to St. Peter. His 12-footer's no good. It was blocked by Collins, but we got a foul on Dan Collins. Foul on Dan is his first, third on the team. Stuart St. Peter will be at the line for 2 shots. His dad doesn't have a bad seat for this one either. He's the second row up, right across from Jeremy Carroll's grandfather. That's what I love about this game, Andy. It's all these families together watching the game. Stuart St. Peter, a 6'4" junior. Fires up and hits. He'll get another. It's Rutland 16, MSJ 11. 2:59 left first quarter. Second shot by Stu St. Peter is good. Gets them both. The Raiders go up 17-11. Rogers with it in the backcourt for MSJ. Rogers roars into the forecourt. On the bounce to Carroll near the left sideline. Mounties control. On the bounce now to Rogers into the lane. Scoops it up and in. Nice move for Matt Rogers. 17-13, a 4-point Rutland lead. 2:40 left first quarter. Brian Penny down the middle. Mounties in the 2-3 zone, this time down the floor. The Trainer left sideline to Anderson. Back out now. It goes to Bliss, and the key is 18-footers good. Brent Bliss is a 6'1" junior. The Raiders lead at 19-13. Matt Rogers with it to Collins to Keenan. And full court pressure. Keenan picked up by Penny. Dribbles into the forecourt. Penny chases him. Right sideline. Keenan looking around, still looking on the bounce. He wanted to go to Abel, buy him out of bounds. A Mountie turnover, and Rutland will control in the backcourt.
MSJ trying to force things right there. Bad move, turnover. They can't afford to have any turnovers. Rutland's already got a 6-point lead. The second unit's been pretty steady and pretty patient here, working the offense for Sid Thompson.
Mounties in the 2-3 zone. Is Penny from downtown. His three-pointer's good. Brian Penny from the right side of the circle nails the three-pointer. The Raiders go up by 9, 22-13. Rogers down the middle. Rogers on the bounce to Abel. Double pump shot blocked by Anderson. Comes down to St. Peter. Great block by Ben Anderson. St. Peter up to Bliss into the forecourt down the middle. To the left sideline to Trainer. Up for 3. An air ball comes down to Collins. Collins ahead now to Abel. Chases it down. Still in the backcourt. Sends it to Collins now to Keenan. Keenan into the forecourt. Picked up by Penny. Keenan on the right now to Collins. 1:22 left first quarter. Collins dribbles to the right. Has the open shot and takes the bomb and hits. It's a 2-pointer. 22-15, Rutland by 7. Penny the other way against the Mountie 2-3 zone. Penny halfway between the circles, right sideline to Trainer. Down low to Anderson. His pass knocked out of bounds by Rogers. 1:04 left first quarter. And let's see who'll put the ball into play for Rutland. It'll be Brian Penny. Brian, a 5'11" junior, gets it into Trainer right sideline. Out front to Brent Bliss. On the left to Penny. Head fakes, dribbles once. His pass knocked away. Picked off by Keenan. Mounties control with 52 seconds left in the first quarter. Keenan out of Collins. Between the sideline and the key, out front to Abel. On the left now to Rogers. Loops it down low, intended for Keenan. We got a foul against Rutland. I believe it's on Pinney. It is on Brian Pinney, number 1 on Brian. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 on the Raiders. Next one will send the Mounties to the line. The Mounties will control. Carroll bounces it into Collins. 17-footer, no good. And the rebound to Anderson. Outlet to Pinney. Pinney into the forecourt, left sideline. Pinney down the sideline to Brent Bliss. 34 seconds left in the quarter. Rutland leads at 22-15. With it is Trainer. Cross court now to St. Peter. And the sideline and the key out to Pinney, halfway between the circles. Pinney down low to Bliss, out to Trainer, right sideline. Dribbles to the lane. On the bounce, he wanted to go to Anderson. Knocked away, picked off by Keenan. Mounties control with 15 seconds left in the first quarter. Keenan dribbles to the right, picked up by Pinney. 10 seconds left in the quarter as Keenan directs the attack and sends it out to Carroll. Carroll into the lane, drives, lays it up, no good. We got a whistle and a foul against the Raiders. Carroll will be at the line for 2. Puts the Raiders over the limit anyway. The foul is on Nate Trainer, his second. 5 seconds left in the first quarter. Rutland 22, MSJ 15.
Nice move by Carroll right there. Took it all the way down the lane, went up strong, and picked up the foul. Now they're going to be in the bonus here for the whole second quarter.
He's at the line for 2 anyway in the act of shooting, and he misses the first. He will get another. Jeremy Carroll. Looks and fires. He's got that one. 1 out of 2, 22-16. The Raiders lead it. 5 seconds left in the quarter. St. Peter gets it into play to Bliss. Bliss to the left sideline to Anderson, to St. Peter in the lane. His jumper is good, but it won't count. It was after the buzzer. Just a little bit too late for St. Peter. That's the end of the first quarter in the title game of the Rutland Holiday Tournament at the Keefe Gym. After 1, our score, Rutland 22 and MSJ 16. Back after this 30-second break. Jack Healey back with Andy Rice. This kid, Andy Rice, who not a kid anymore, a second-year seasoned veteran of doing color commentary on WSYB. I feel like I'm doing the game with Tom Cruise. He's so popular. Unbelievable. Let's get a shot. This game is taped for later telecast on Channel 15. You got to get the Tom Cruise lookalike, Andy Rice. Look at him. Getting set for the second quarter, MSJ's possession. Rutland leads at 22-16. Keenan with it. Right side. Keenan goes to Carroll, right sideline. Out now to Barasowski, right side of the circle. Dribbles to the key to the line. Lost his footing almost. Got it out to Carroll. Saved himself from traveling. Barasowski, by the way, checked in at the end of the quarter. We got a whistle and a foul against the Raiders after Carroll threw that ball to Barasowski. Barasowski, Collins, Carroll, Rogers, and Keenan for MSJ. And that original starting 5 in for the Raiders, Bergquist, Anagnas, Barron, Sievertson, and Sin. And who they call the foul on? It should be over the limit. It's on Sin. It's his second. By the way, our cameraman for Channel 15, the telecast at a later time, is Brian Mayhew.
And you're setting me up, Jack. I already take a verbal beating as it is from my friends just for, because I do the games. And now, you're calling me Tom Cruise on the air, so I can see him over there in the front row. They'll just wait to hear this one.
Shot by Jeremy Carroll is no good at the line for a 1-on-1 as he missed it. And Agnes, the rebound, is outlet to Sievertson. Tried to save it at the sideline. Did to Collins, and Collins couldn't save it. Tried to throw it back off Sievertson out of bounds, but it went off the Mounties, and Sievertson will put the ball into play from the sideline in the backcourt for Rutland High. Early going, second quarter. Gets it into play to Jeff Sin. Sin dribbles up into the forecourt now for Rutland High. To the right sideline to Jimmy and Agnes. On the cut to Bergquist. He lays it up. No good. Rebound. Tap back out, and it goes out of bounds. Carroll, nice hustle, but he couldn't save it at the sideline. I noticed one thing. When the starting 5 is in, the Mounties are in the man-to-man. When the other 5 comes in, Finney and the rest, the Mounties go into the 2-3 zone.
I don't know if that's such a good idea because I believe Nate Trainer's their best three-point shooter. He's in on that second unit.
And, of course, Pinney found the range from three-point land over the 2-3 zone. The Mounties basketball as they do control that one off the Raiders. The pass from Keenan intended for Collins, stolen away by Severson, and getting back to knock the ball out of bounds is Collins. And there is a foul on Dan Collins, but that's a good foul as Collins came back to break the play up. The foul on Dan Collins is his second, and that is the fourth on the team. Well, apparently not as good a foul as well, it's a good foul anyway. It's going to be a shooting foul. Severson, I was thinking originally it was before the shot, but Severson in the act of shooting. He's at the line for two, and his shot is good.
He called it right away when he was going up. He called the two-shot foul right away.
Yep. 23-17, Rutland goes up by 7. Second shot by Severson is no good off the back of the rim. Rebound goes to Rogers. Rogers on the outlet off the bounce to Keenan into the forecourt. Keenan wanted to go to Collins, knocked away, scramble. It goes back to Collins, and he lays it up and in. I believe it was Carroll that saved it and sent it to Collins. And Collins laid it in, 23-18. The Raiders by 5. Long pass down court to Barron. Beats the pack, lays it up, no good. Rebound, Carroll. Carroll dribbles up for the Mounties into the forecourt down the middle. To the key, on the right to Collins, up for three, bang. Dan Collins, the three-pointer. And the Raiders lead by 2, 23-21. Long pass to Anagnos, and he lays it in. That beat the pack easily. 25-21. The Raiders up by 4. The Mounties have trouble with it. Berezowski is fouled in the backcourt. Well, before it was Barron. He missed the shot that time. Anagnos canned it. Joe Lorman gets set to check in.
It's on Berquist.
Foul on Berquist, number 2. I believe Benny Anderson will check in for Berquist. Collins out, Lorman in for MSJ. Berquist out, Anderson in for Rutland. 6:22 left first half, 25-21. The Raiders by 4.
Dan Collins is someone the other night, I didn't see the game, but I don't know how well Dan did, but last year I did a couple of MSJ games, and Dan was a hot hand. He could shoot from outside, and he's showing it right now.
Berezowski is the Mountie at the line for a 1-and-1. His shot is no good. Rebound goes to Benny Anderson. Anderson on the outlet to Severson. Down court to Sin. Sin down the sideline, stops, loops it out by Anderson. Saved by Barron at the midcourt circle. On the left he goes to Jimmy Anagnos. Back out front to Sin. Picked up by Berezowski. Sin to the key. A 17-footer. No good short. Rebound fought for it. Goes to Ben Anderson. Anderson to Anagnos. Anagnos lays it up. No good. And the tap is up and good by Anderson. 27-21. The Raiders by 6. Lorman with it in the backcourt for MSJ. Double team. Lorman spinning around. Lost the handle. Picked off by Anagnos to Barron. Barron lays it in. Pretty play. All of a sudden, the Raiders are up by 8, 29-21. The Mounties want a timeout. Leon Wood with a timeout. 5:36 left first half. The title game of the holiday tournament. It's Rutland by 8. Rutland 29, MSJ 21. Back after this 30-second break.
Serving the Rutland region for over 40 years.
8-point Raider lead. 5:36 left in the first half as we are in the title game of the holiday tournament. First of at least 3 matchups between Rutland and MSJ in basketball. Essex defeated Mill River in the consolation game tonight, 73-49. Berezowski, Rogers, Carroll, Lorman, and Keenan for the Mounties. Barron, Severson, Anagnos, Sin, and Anderson for the Raiders. Mounties have it in the backcourt against full court pressure. Rogers with it. Rogers breaks the pressure into the forecourt to the key to the lane. His 14-footer's good. That's how you break it. Rogers went coast to coast, 29-23, Rutland by 6. Barron throws it to Anagnos to Anderson. His shot blocked by Berezowski. Anderson gets it back again, and finally he's tied up. We got a jump ball situation. Tied up by Rogers. Berezowski on the block originally, and Rogers tied him up. It is Rutland's possession.
Nice play by Berezowski. He's given up quite a few inches to Ben, but he went right over the top and smacked it out of his hands.
Raiders control with Barron out front. Back on the left, it goes to Severson. Severson sends it out front to Sin, to the key to the right side of the lane. Now to Barron, right wing. Back out it goes to Severson. Dribbles to the right and stops. Down low to Anagnos. His turnaround is good. Jimmy Anagnos, a huge first half for the Raiders. 31-23, an 8-point Rutland lead. Rogers is traveling.
He's having a big first half. He missed half of the season last year with his knee injury, like we all know, and then he came back strong, and he paced him in the championship game and the semifinal game.
That's right.
He had big games for for them both nights, so it's not surprising that he is having a big night tonight.
Right side, Severson for three. It's no good. Rebound goes out of bounds, and it goes off Barron. The Mounties will control in the backcourt. John Keenan looking to put the ball into play against full court Raider pressure. Loops it all the way up to midcourt to Carroll. Carroll breaks the pressure down the left sideline in the forecourt. Carroll picked up by Sid. Out front now it goes to Joe Lorman. Lorman back to Carroll down the left sideline to the left baseline. Drives, lays it up and in. 31-25, Rutland by 6. In the other way, into the forecourt down the sideline, picked up by Carroll. Sid stops the dribble, and we have a timeout. No, they're going to call a double dribble on Jeff Sin. Thought he was calling for a timeout. Sin is out, and Finney is in for Rutland. Lorman is out, and Collins back in for MSJ. So the Mounties will control in the backcourt as Keenan gets the ball into play to Dan Collins. Collins chased by Severson. Now Barron comes over. Now to Keenan it goes. Keenan breaks the pressure into the forecourt. Near the left sideline. Spins around. Looking on the bounce to Beresowski down the sideline to the baseline. Drives and lays it up. No good. Rebound. Hot four. Barron chases it down into the forecourt. Luke Barron left sideline holds it up. On the bounce to Severson. On the bounce he goes to Anagnos. Lays it up. No good. But we got a foul against MSJ, and Jimmy Anagnos will be at the line for 2 shots for Rutland.
It's on Collins.
It is on Dan Collins. That foul on Collins is number 3. He just checked in a moment ago. Now Abel comes in for Beresowski. That foul on the Mounties is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 team fouls.
You've got to be careful with Collins. He's got the hot hand. He's got 9 points for him tonight.
Anagnos hits the first. He'll get another. How many does Jimmy have? 32-25. The Raiders by 7. 14 points for Jimmy Anagnos. Second shot is good, make it 15 points. So Raiders go up 33-25 into the ball game. For the Mounties is Darryl Oskowski, and out is Collins, who just checked in, but he sits down with 3 personal fouls. 3:58 left first half. As Keenan throws it up to Oskowski as they break the pressure. Oskowski to the circle, now to Abel left baseline. A short jumper, no good. Rebound to Severson. Long pass down court to Barrett. Beats the pack and lays it in. Nice play. Nice pass from Severson. The Raiders go up by 10, 35-25. With it, Keenan gets it into play to Oskowski. Picked up by Severson, back to Keenan, picked up by Barron. Still in the backcourt, he breaks the pressure. Keenan dribbles all the way to the lane, running right-hander, no good. We'll get a foul against Rutland. This game getting just slightly helter-skelter.
They're going to call this on Barron, I believe. Nope. Penny.
Foul is on Brian Pinney, his second. Keenan at the line for a 1-and-1. They're going to call it before the shot. 3:31 left in the first half. Shot by Keenan is good. Rutland lays it by 9, and the Raiders at 35, MSJ 26. Brent Bliss checks into the ball game for Rutland High for Brian Pinney. So it's Bliss, Anagnos, Barron, Anderson, and Severson for Rutland. Oskowski, Carroll, Keenan, Abel, and Rogers for MSJ. Second shot by Keenan, in and out, no good. Rebound tapped around. Severson comes down with it. And Severson dribbles up and then sends it to Luke Barron. Barron into the forecourt for Rutland High. Barron to the key to the lane. On the bounce to Anagnos, and he lays it in. 17 unofficially for Anagnos in the first half. Raiders lead at 37-26. Carroll with it. Carroll lost it to Severson. Severson on the bounce to Barron. He drives, lays it up. No good. Foul by Keenan. That's the 16th foul on the Mounties. The foul on Keenan is his first. As we got a timeout on the floor with 3:04 left in the first half. It's MSJ's timeout. Our score, Rutland 37, MSJ 26. Back after this 30-second break. For Rutland, J.P. Carrera and Sons MVPs. 3:04 left first half here in the title game. Rutland 37, MSJ 26.
Like you said, Jack, Rutland's being paced right now by Jim Anagnos. He does have 17 points. He's having a big night. What they're doing, he's just getting down low. They're finding him the ball, and he's using his size, not his height, to his advantage. He uses his size properly. He knows how to position himself against these guys, and he did it last night against the bigger guys. He doesn't have a 6'6" and a 6'5" and 6'4" guy from Essex to go up against tonight, but he does have Rogers, a stocky type player, and he uses his body properly, and he gets those easy layups. So He's having a big night tonight, 17 points. And not surprising. Not surprising at all. Luke Barron is having a decent night tonight all over the floor as usual, making things happen.
He's at the line for 2. Luke Barron, he hits the first as the Raiders go up by 12, 38-26. He'll get another. Second shot for Luke Barron is no good off the back of the rim. Rebound fought for, scramble, and it goes to Barron into the lane. Now to Anagnos, dribbles toward the right sideline and stops. Down low to Bliss, cross court. He wanted to go to Sievertson. As Carroll knocked it away, couldn't save it. It goes out of bounds off Jeremy Carroll. As Jeff Sin is in for Luke Barron for Rutland High.
Nice try right there about Carroll to try to save that ball. Sievertson was kind of blocking him out a little bit, but still good effort. Almost, he was there about the second row of the bleachers, so.
Bliss's pass intended for Sievertson goes out of bounds. So the Mounties will control in the backcourt. Full court pressure for the Raiders as Keenan. Let's see, will put the ball into play. He was at the sideline. He'll put it into play in the backcourt from the baseline. Keenan looking around. Tenacious defense by the Raiders. Gets it into Oskoski. Oskoski now throws it into the forecourt intended for Carroll. Broken up by Sievertson. It goes out of bounds. The Mounties will control from the left sideline of the forecourt. Jeremy Carroll getting set to put the ball into play. Carroll looking, still looking, gets it into Kyle Abel. Out near the midcourt circle, hands it off to Keenan. Keenan to the key to the lane. A short jumper around the rim, no good. And the rebound is controlled by St. Peter, who's in. Ahead now to Sievertson. Sievertson drives. His shot from the baseline is good, but it won't count. Got a whistle and a foul before the shot. The Mounties are over the limit. Sievertson will be at the line for a 1-and-1. And the foul is on Jeremy Carroll, his first. Both teams over the limit now. Setting the alignment, St. Peter is in now for Rutland. Also Bliss, Anagnos, Sievertson, and Sin. Oskoski, Carroll, Rogers, Keenan, and Abel for MSJ. Sievertson at the line for a 1-and-1. For the Raiders.
Nice play by Sievertson to force that. He's kind of the unheard-of hero tonight. He's only got 1 point. He's been to the line. This is the second time.
Got 2 points. As he hits the first, he'll get another.
But he's made a lot of big plays. He's come up with some big rebounds. If you look back, and he'd led Luke Barron on a couple of those one-on-ones. He looked down court and found it. So
second shot is good as well. 2 free throws for Sievertson, and the Raiders go up 40-26, a 14-point lead. Keenan throws the ball into play to Rogers. The Mounties have to work hard each time up the floor with that full-court Raider pressure. Oskoski with it now out to Keenan, midcourt circle. Picked up by Sin. 2:22 left in the first half. With it now Oskoski. Now to the left baseline to Carroll. Pumps up the 18-footer. It's no good. Rebound, Jimmy Anagnos. Shovels it ahead for Bliss into the forecourt down the right sideline. Bliss looking inside. Loops it down low for Anagnos from the baseline. His fadeaway is no good, but he was fouled. Both teams long since over the limit. The foul is on Matt Rogers, his second. It's a 1-and-1. It was before the shot. So Anagnos at the line for the 1-and-1.
It's a nice pass by Bliss to get it down low to Jimmy. Jimmy was in traffic. There was 3 guys around. I can't imagine that was Coach Thompson's first option was to get it in tight there, but still.
Anagnos on the first shot. He's got that one. He'll get another. 41-26, Rutland.
He's 4 for 4 from the line.
Second shot by Jimmy Anagnos is good. 2 free throws for Jimmy Anagnos. And the Raiders lead at 42-26. Anagnos gets a breather. Mark Barassa checks in for Rutland High. Verosowski is in for the Mounties. And Kyle Abel sits down. Now the Raiders relent defensively, and Jeremy Carroll will trot it up easily for MSJ into the forecourt. He'll be picked up by Sievertson. 2 minutes left in the first half. Carroll looks right and goes left now to Keenan. Keenan now goes to the left baseline to Oskoski. His shot is no good, but we got a foul long before the shot. Going against Rutland, I believe it's on Bliss. It is on Brent Bliss, and that is his first. Darryl Oskoski, 6-foot junior, at the line for a 1-and-1 for MSJ. His shot is no good, and the rebound goes to St. Peter. On the bounce, it goes to Bliss. Bliss into the forecourt. His pass picked off by Keenan. Down court to Rogers. Rogers on Sievertson. He lays it in. Nice play. Rutland 42, MSJ 28. Minute 35 left in the first half. With it is Bliss, right sideline. Out to Barassa on the left of St. Peter, 18-footer short. And we have a whistle and a foul in the rebounding action. St. Peter, I believe, on the foul. So he tried to follow up the missed shot.
Yeah, I think he hit St. Peter on over the back, his first personal tonight.
Indeed, the first on Stuart St. Peter, and we'll be going to the line. It'll be Joe Barasowski. Benny Anderson will check in for St. Peter here momentarily. Anderson is in, St. Peter is out. Jeremy Carroll is at the line for MSJ. 14-point Rutland lead. The Raiders lead at 42-28. Shot by Carroll is good. He'll get another.
He's 4 for 5 from the line tonight.
Rutland 42, MSJ 29. Jeremy Carroll, 6'1" senior, looks and fires. It's no good. Rebound goes to Ben Anderson. To Severson. Severson into the forecourt down the left sideline. Severson dribbles left to right, goes to Bliss, right side of the circle. Picked up by Barasowski. Now to Anderson. Has the open jumper and hits. Didn't want to take it at first, but found it wide open. Took it and got the bucket. Ben Anderson. Rutland 44, MSJ 29. Keenan with it left baseline for the Mounties. A minute left in the half to Rogers. He lays it up and in. 44-31, Rutland. Severson with it in the backcourt, picked up by Keenan. 48 seconds left in the half. Severson down the right sideline. Dribbles right to left. Dribbles to the left side of the circle on the bounce to Sin. His turnaround is good. Rutland 46, MSJ 31. The Raiders with a 15-point lead. 30 seconds left in the half. Keenan to the key. 17-footer no good. Rebound Carroll, but we got a foul, and I believe Carroll might have pushed off underneath. The Raider will be going to the line. It is on Jeremy Carroll, and that is his second. It'll be Severson at the line for a 1-and-1 for Rutland High. Severson, Sin, St. Peter, Barassa, and Bliss for Rutland High right now. It's Rogers, Carroll, Narosowski, Oskowski, and Keenan for MSJ. The shot by Severson is good. He'll get another. 16-point Raider lead. They lead at 47-31.
They've outscored the Mounties here.
Second shot is good by Severson.
Had it all figured out, but then I lost it there for a second.
48-31. Rutland with a 17-point lead. Keenan with it. 19 seconds left in the half. Out front to Oskowski, halfway between the circles. Now to Barasowski, left side of the lane. His 12-footer's no good. And the easy rebound to Severson, outlet to Sin. 7 seconds left. Sin to Barassa. By St. Peter, by Bliss, and it goes out of bounds. The Mounties will have it in the backcourt with 4 seconds left in the half. Jeremy Carroll puts the ball into play to Keenan. 2 seconds left. Keenan from the backcourt fires up, no good. Off the glass, hit the back of the rim. His time expires, ending the first half. At halftime, our score, Rutland 48, MSJ 31. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout with Andy Rice. My vocal cords can hold on here for another 16 minutes. I'll be all set.
I just got a few little points from Bob. He said right after Dan Collins went into foul trouble, we knew he went into foul trouble. He still has the 9 points, but right after that, the Raiders had 11 unanswered points. Yeah. That's where they went out to that big lead. And then free throw shooting for the half. The Raiders are 13 for 15. The Mounties are 6 for 13. They've missed on 3 ends of the 1-and-1, so they're not capitalizing on their free throws. As one thing that the Mounties need to do a little bit better here in the second half, and they've got to try to keep Danny Collins from picking up that 4th foul here early.
And Collins is in there to start things off for the Mounties here in the second half. 48-31, the Raiders up by 17. It'll be MSJ's possession. The Mounties going left to right, the Raiders right to left. Barasowski with it into the forecourt. Barasowski, Carroll, Keenan, Collins, and Rogers. The alignment right now for MSJ. Keenan with it, halfway between the circles. He goes to Rogers in the lane. His 14-footer around the rim, no good. Rebound Severson. Severson, Sin, Berquist, and Agnes and Barron Starting it off for the Raiders in the second half. With it is Bergquist. On the right, he goes to Jimmy Anagnos. Jimmy Anagnos dribbles around near the right sideline. Stops the dribble, goes to Severson in the key. On the bounce to Anagnos in the lane. His short jumper's no good. Rogers the rebound. He goes to Keenan. Keenan skips it into the forecourt down the middle now, halfway between the circles, controlling off the dribble. Dribbles to the left. Back to the right now. On the right wing, he goes to Beresowski. On the bounce now to Collins, top of the circle. Collins now on the cut to Carroll into the lane. He lays it up. No good. Too hard off the glass. Rebound. Rogers back up. No good. Anagnos the rebound. And he's tied up by Carroll. And it will be Rutland's possession.
Matt Rogers with a big offensive rebound there. He just needs to capitalize on those.
Slowly up court, Luke Barron for the Raiders. Picked up by Keenan. Both teams in the man-to-man. On the bounce, it goes to Bergquist in the circle. On the bounce, he goes into Sin. Sin lays it up, no good. Rebound, fought for, and it goes to Beresowski. All that now to Carroll. The Mounties control. Carroll in the forecourt left side. Looks around, sends it to the left sideline to Sean Keenan. Keenan back out to Carroll, now to Collins, right side of the circle. Now it goes on the left to Rogers. Back out to Collins, up for three. It's no good. Rebound, it goes to Bergquist, and he's fouled by Beresowski. That foul on Joe Beresowski is his second, first on the team here in the half. Sin sits down, and Brian Pinney is in for Rutland High. 6:29 left third quarter, the title game of the Rutland Boys Basketball Holiday Tournament. Here at the Keefe Gym, the Raiders lead at 48-31 over MSJ. Bergquist with it in the key. On the bounce, right wing to Jimmy Anagnos. Anagnos looking, still looking. Sends it out front to Bergquist, left side of the circle. Bergquist dribbles once on the right to Brian Pinney. Out in three-point land, right sideline to Anagnos. Anagnos now to Barron to the right baseline. Shot blocked by Keenan, but we get a foul. It might not be on Keenan. Maybe somebody on the other side. We'll wait and see. It's on Collins, and that is his fourth personal foul. That's what I thought. I thought it might be on Collins. He's got four. That is the second team foul on the Mounties, and Barron's at the line for two.
That's a big foul right there. Picked up early on Collins. Only 2 minutes here into the third quarter, into the second half. So I expect Coach Wood will probably take him out here. They can't afford to have him foul out early in the third quarter.
Barron misses the first. He'll get another as Joe Lorman will get set to check in here for the Mounties for Dan Collins. So Collins sits down with a four. Uncle Tim Collins sitting not 5 feet from us here. He's not happy. Luke Barron getting set for his second shot. And it's up and no good. The rebound is controlled by Sin. To the baseline, lays it up, no good. And the rebound controlled by Beresowski. Sin was out for just a moment. Check back in for Pinney. Well, Pinney was in for Sin for just a couple of seconds. Keenan with it, left sideline. Out to Beresowski. Now to Lorman, halfway between the circles. On the left wing, it goes to Beresowski. Dribbles into the lane, forces the shot, in and out, no good, but we got a foul. And it's going against the Raiders. Foul is on Bergquist, his third. First on the Raiders. Before the shot, common foul. The Mounties will control from the baseline. Carroll gets it in right side to Keenan. Throws up the 18-footer. It's no good, and the rebound is controlled to Bergquist. And he goes to Barron. Nobody scored yet here in the third quarter. The Raiders throw the ball away. The Mounties will control for midcourt. 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. Nobody scored here as Bergquist is out. Ben Anderson is in for Rutland High. Carroll gets it into play to Beresowski into the forecourt now. Beresowski out to Keenan near the midcourt circle. Picked up by Barron off the man-to-man. Both teams in the man-to-man. On the bounce right side to Beresowski to the baseline. Drives baseline and lays it in. Nice move to the bucket for Joe Beresowski. First points for either team in the third quarter. Rutland leads at 48-33. Severson right baseline. His shot no good. Rebound Keenan. Keenan dribbles up now for the Mounties. Down court to Rogers. Pumps up the 15-footer. It's an air ball. Goes to Beresowski at the baseline. Lays it up and in. Rutland 48, MSJ 35. Here's Anderson the other way. He lays it up. No good. He was traveling. 4:57 left third quarter. And the Raiders want a timeout. Sid Thompson looking for the timeout here. Our score, Rutland 48, MSJ 35. As we said, 4:57 left third quarter. Back after this 30-second timeout.
Service makes warm friends.
The Raiders by 13, early going third quarter, actually almost halfway through here.
I think Coach Thompson's probably a little concerned there. Like you said, 3 minutes off the clock here in the second half. They haven't got a point yet. You know, the Mounties are slowly chipping away at that 17-point lead the Raiders had at the half. So I think that's a little bit of concern. He wanted to talk to his players, tell them to settle down, get into their offense. They're really forcing things right now, turning the ball over.
Full court Raider pressure. Lorman with it for the Mounties in the backcourt, chased by Sievertson. Lorman dribbles up, reverse dribble into the forecourt, down the middle of the key to the left side of the lane, almost lost the handle. Goes to Beresowski, right side of the circle. Loops it down low for Rogers, tried to save it. Threw it in, but it's picked off by Barron. Barron, right side of the forecourt for the Raiders, on the cut to Anagnos. In the lane, lays it up and in, but it won't count. We've got an offensive foul on Jimmy Anagnos. Second team foul on the Raiders, and that foul on Jimmy Anagnos is his second. So the Mounties will control in the backcourt. Sean Keenan with it. Loops it ahead now to Rogers. Rogers gets it across the line. Picked up by Anagnos. On the right now it goes to Lorman. Lorman looking inside. Still looking. Dribbles toward the middle now and stops on the left to Carroll. Toward the left sideline in the key. To the left sideline he goes to Beresowski. Dribbles to the lane. Running right-handers. No good. Rebound. Beresowski saves it, but he threw it in. Picked off by Sievertson to Barron. Barron on the bounce to Anagnos, and he lays it in. It's going to count, and he got fouled. Jimmy Anagnos, opportunity for a three-point play. The Raiders go up 50-35, their first points of the third quarter. Third team foul on the Mounties, and they call that one on Jeremy Carroll, his third.
Pretty play by Barron. Nice pass between two Mounties over to Jimmy, and Jimmy laid it up and in. The last time the Raiders had the ball down the court, they finally got the offense set up. I don't think Coach Thompson, Jimmy picked up the offensive foul, but they can't be not satisfied with the results, even though they did set up the offense and do what they tried to go back to what they were doing.
He hits the free throw to complete the three-point play. We got a steal by Barron to Anagnos. Anagnos' shot blocked underneath. The Raiders lead at 51-35. Anagnos will go to the line again, this time for two shots. The foul is on Keenan. That's his second. The Mounties' third. Jimmy Anagnos at the line for two shots. He's got 22 points unofficially. Make it 23 unofficially as he hits the first. He'll get another. 52-35. Rutland with a lead. 4:01 left third quarter. Second shot by Anagnos is good. And the Raiders now have a 53-35 lead. They led by 17 at halftime. They have an 18-point lead now. Keenan with it in the backcourt, picked up by Luke Barron. Keenan into the forecourt down the left sideline. Controlling off the dribble toward the corner. Back out to Rogers. Give and go back to Keenan. Drives baseline and lays it in. Pretty play. Keenan to Rogers. Back to Keenan on the give and go. And he went right down the baseline and laid it in. Rutland 53, MSJ 37. Barron to Anagnos, and Anagnos lays it in. Rutland 55, MSJ 37. 3:30 left third quarter. Keenan into the forecourt down the right sideline, picked up by Barron. Keenan dribbles right to left into the lane, and he is fouled by Barron. As he tried to go up with it, we'll see if they call that a shooting foul. Never really got the shot away. Foul on Barron is his first. It is a shooting foul. Keenan at the line for two as Bliss, Pinney, Trainer, and St. Peter are all in for Rutland. Anderson's in there as well.
So it's basically their second unit, that second five. Ben was already in the game, so they only subbed.
Yeah, Ben just checked in a few moments ago as Keenan's shot is good. That's the third team foul on the Raiders, by the way, in the half. Again, Barron's first foul. 55-38, Rutland with a lead. Second shot by Keenan around the rim and in. John Keenan gets two free throws. And it's Rutland 55, MSJ 39. Trainer sends it to Ben Anderson in the key. On the cut to Pinney, lays it up and in left-handed. Rutland 57, MSJ 39. 3:08 left third quarter. Keenan tried to throw the ball into play. Beresowski finally ran it down, then lost it out of bounds. But it went off the Raiders. The Mounties will control in the backcourt.
the Mounties are struggling getting the ball in here in the third quarter.
So full court pressure again by Rutland High as Varsity has it. This time the Raiders relent. Varsity trots into the forecourt. Stops the dribble, left side of the circle. Looks around, still looking, sends it to Rogers. Head fakes to the left baseline, running left-hander, no go. Trainer the rebound. Nate Trainer for the Raiders dribbles up. Picked up by Lorman as he stutter steps into the forecourt. Up top to St. Peter, left side of the circle. And Peter to the left side of the lane. Now in the cut to Anderson in the lane, lays it up and in. Rutland by 20. The Raiders lead at 59-39. We got a timeout, MSJ, with 2:27 left in the third quarter. Again, the Raiders up by 20. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Healey, Andy Rice, Bulldog Blair, our engineer tonight. We'll be back a week from tonight. As a matter of fact, Andy, we'll see Rutland and MSJ again here at the Keith Gym.
Well, right now the Raiders are just doing a superb job running their offense. There's guys cutting through the lane, and they're just being real patient, waiting to give it to the first open man through. And I think Coach Thompson's got to be very pleased right now. He's got, like you said, the second units in right now. They're just running the offense to a T. He can't ask for anything else. And Coach Wood, I think, got a little frustrated, wanted to get a timeout and talk to his players about it.
MSJ controlling in the backcourt with Matt Rogers, picked up by St. Peter as he gets into the forecourt. On the bounce to Abel. His short jumper's no good. Abel checked in during the timeout. A rebound fought for, and we got a jump ball situation. Abel checked in, I believe, for Lorman during the timeout. It'll be MSJ's possession. So it's Carroll, Abel, Keenan, Rogers, and Varsity right now for MSJ. Collins on the bench with 4 fouls. Carroll looking to throw the ball into play. And he gets it into Varsity, lays it up, no good. The rebound is controlled by Bliss to Pinney. His pass too high and out of bounds, intended for Ben Anderson. The Mounties will control in the backcourt. Pinney, Anderson, Trainer, St. Peter, and Bliss in there right now for Rutland High. 2:07 left third quarter. Rutland with a 20-point lead. We're in the title game of the holiday tournament. Rogers, 15-footer, no go. But he was fouled. He'll be at the line for 2. It's on St. Peter. Second on St. Peter. That is the 4th on the Raiders here in the half. Matt Rogers at the line for 2 shots. The senior looks and fires. It's no good. He'll get another. Matt Rogers, a 6'2 senior.
Mounties are kind of forcing things right now. The last 2 times down the court, they've gone right to a quick shot right away.
Second shot is good, but it won't count.
Lane violation on.
It is a lane violation.
Varsity
against the Mounties, so the free throw does not count. The Raiders have it in the backcourt with Trainer. Trainer picked up by Varsity in the backcourt. 1:54 left in the third quarter. Rutland in control. The Raiders lead it by 20. Trainer with the right sideline on the bounce to St. Peter. St. Peter to the right side of the lane. On the bounce left side, it goes to Trainer, up for 3, no go. Rebound Rogers. Down court to Abel, chases it down. Goes to the bucket, knocked away by St. Peter, comes down to Pinney. Great defensive play by Stuart St. Peter. Pinney right sideline. He goes now to Bliss near the right corner. Bliss now to Anderson in the free throw. At the free throw line, his pass picked off by Keenan. Keenan drives the length of the court, lays it up, no good. And I think the Mountie bench wants a field goal, what am I trying to say here, a goaltending call against Anderson as he went up underneath the basket. We do have a foul as it is. Anderson put his hand up through the netting and hit the ball, but no bucket. The Mountie bench wants a goaltending call. But it probably came after. Okay, it might have come after the shot. I don't know. It obviously came after the shot, but I mean after the whistle. That's what the Mounties are talking about. They feel there should have been a goaltending call against Ben Anderson. There was a whistle and a foul.
The foul's on Pinney. That's his 3rd personal.
And the 4th on the team. It'll be Keenan at the line for 2.
I don't think either of the officials saw it.
I don't think they saw it either. I think that's what happened.
If they did see it, they probably would have called it.
Because he wouldn't be going to the line. It would have been before the shot. So once the shot was off, it had to have counted because it would have counted if it went in. But Keenan at the line for 2 for the Mounties. His shot is no good. He'll get another. John Barker is in for the Raiders. Second shot is no good, and we get a whistle and a foul in the rebounding action. And we got a foul on Abel and a technical foul on Kyle Abel. Yep, personal foul on Kyle Abel, a technical foul on Kyle Abel. And Abel will sit down, and checking into the ball game for MSJ will be John Vigno. St. Peter will be at the line for the 2 shots on the technical. I don't know, did they call a personal foul or not? I know they called the technical.
Called the personal foul. They did call the personal foul. He's over the back. He didn't like the call, and then he got the technical.
St. Peter hits the first. He'll get another. 60-39. The Raiders with the lead. 1:19 left in the third quarter as Vigno's in. The Raiders will also get the basketball. Second shot by St. Peter is no good, so he gets 1 out of 2. The technical foul. That foul on Abel was his first. How many team fouls you got for MSJ? 4? Or 5, I believe. They got 4 on the board. I'm not even sure if they counted that one up there. At any rate, the Raiders have the basketball. St. Peter with it. Top of the circle on the right, it goes to Trainer. Out front now to Benny Anderson. To the left wing, St. Peter. 15-footers, no good. Rebound Parker. Head fakes on the baseline, lays it up, no good. Rebound St. Peter. We got a whistle and a foul. And it's against Rutland in the rebounding action.
I think they got St. Peter over the back there. That's his third.
It is on St. Peter, his third. That's the 6th on the team. Well, they got 4 team fouls for MSJ still up there, and they still got 5 for Rutland, so we'll have to double check that. MSJ controls, but we got a steal by Penny. Penny falls down in the forecourt. He loses to Barasowski. Into the forecourt for the Mounties, down to Rogers. Short baseline jumper's good. Rutland 60 and MSJ 41. 38 seconds left in the third quarter. Penny with it, top of the circle for the Raiders. On the left, he goes to Benny Anderson. Into the lane is passed to St. Peter. Short jumper's good. Rutland 62, MSJ 41. 24 seconds left in the quarter. Now they got it corrected. Rutland has 5 and MSJ 6 team fouls. Pass to Keenan. He lays it in. Pretty play. Went right down the baseline and laid it in. 62-43. Raiders a steal for Barasowski. 8 seconds left in the quarter. Barasowski to Rogers. Lays it up, no good. And with 3 seconds left, we got a foul in the rebounding action. I was looking at the scoreboard. Who threw that pass to Keenan?
It was Jeremy Carroll.
Yeah, it was Carroll. Nice pass by Carroll. Just checking the team foul situation. Again, MSJ's got 6 and Rutland 5. Next MSJ foul will send the Raiders to the line. Raiders have 1 to give. The Mounties will have the basketball from the baseline. Jeremy Carroll throws it in now to Rogers, lays it up, no good at the buzzer, but we got a foul on the Raiders at the buzzer, and Rogers will be at the line for 2. The foul is on St. Peter. Who they call the other? The other foul was on Barker, the one before this. That was Barker's first. This one's on St. Peter, and that's his third. Team over the limit, but Rogers at the line for 2 here with no time remaining in the third quarter for MSJ. And his shot is good. He'll get another. That makes it Rutland 62, MSJ 44. We'll see what happens here before we take the break. Second shot by Matt Rogers. He is no good. He gets 1 out of 2. So that's the score at the end of 3 quarters of play. Rutland 62 and MSJ 44. Back after this 30-second timeout. Well, the final 8 in the holiday tournament here at Rutland High, and it's Rutland 62, MSJ 44. The Raiders with an 18-point lead. The Raiders outscored the Mounties 14-13 in the third quarter. They had a 17-point lead at halftime. Now it's a 14-point lead. Well, I should say an 18-point lead as they scored 14 in the third quarter. The Raiders have the basketball as Penny has it right sideline. We'll get to both alignments here when we have an opportunity. Ryan Penny now to Trainer. Left side of the circle into the lane. He's traveling. It's Penny. Berquist is back in. Trainer for the Raiders. Mark Barassa and also John Barker. For the Mounties, John Vigneault, Joe Barasowski, Matt Rogers, Sean Keenan, and Jeremy Carroll. His trainer is out, and into the ball game is Severson for Rutland High. Now Collins still on the bench for the Mounties with 4 fouls. Comes a point, of course, where he's got to come back in. Keenan with it. Dribbles to the left, or the left sideline to the left baseline, back to the sideline now. Barasowski off the pass from Keenan, dribbles once, looks left, goes right to Carroll. Picked up by Severson off the man-to-man. Carroll down low to Rogers, and he beats his man and lays it in. Rutland 62, MSJ 46, early going fourth quarter. Penny with it, right sideline for the Raiders. Down low to Barassa, right side of the lane, out to Severson in the key, dribbles to the right. Severson toward the right sideline. On the bounce, down low to Penny. His turnaround is no good. Rebound to Bergquist, but we got a foul in the rebounding action.
I think they're getting Bergquist for over the back.
If the foul is on Bergquist, that would be his 4th. It is number 4 on Bergquist. Team over the limit. Jimmy and Agnes and Jeff Sin check back in for the Raiders. And Bergquist and also Barker checking out. And at the line for a 1-and-1 from MSJ will be John Vigneault. 7:09 left in the ball game. John Vigneault. 6-foot senior, looks and fires. It's no good off the glass. Rebound fought for, and we got another whistle. The foul is on MSJ's Joe Barasowski. That's his 3rd. And that puts the Mounties over the limit. Mike Severson will be going to the line here for Rutland.
It's been a tight called ball game all along, all throughout the game. A lot of fouls. Guys are starting to get into foul trouble now.
And the shot by Severson around the rim and in. He'll get another as the Raiders go up 63-46.
Kyle Bergquist has 4 fouls. St. Peter's got 4. Penny got 3. Carroll's got 3. Barasowski's got 3. Collins with 4.
Second shot missed, and the Mounties controlling the forecourt with Keenan. Left side of the lane spins, fires up, no good, and the rebound is Severson. Severson dribbles up for the Raiders, sends it ahead now to Sin. Sin into the forecourt down the middle. On the left sideline, he goes to Anagnis. He went to Severson, tried to save it at the baseline, couldn't do it, knocked out of bounds by Rogers, though. Actually, he did end up saving it. So it goes off the Mounties, and the Raiders control from the baseline as Collins is in with the 4 fouls for MSJ for Vigneault. Vigneault sits down. Severson looking to throw the ball into play for Rutland High. Moves it all the way out front to Brian Penny. Picked up by Keenan. Right wing, he goes to Jimmy and Agnes. And Agnes now to Sin. To the free throw line, fires up and drills it. Rutland 65, MSJ 46, 6:34 left of the ball game. Dan Collins dribbles up for the Mounties into the forecourt. Picked up by Barassa. Stops the dribble. Loops it for Rogers in the lane. His jumper's good. 65-48 Rutland. 6:18 left in the ball game. Sin with it on Jeremy Carroll to the right wing, right side of the lane. Sin loses to Rogers. Rogers steals. 3-on-1 break. Rogers keeps, lays it up, no good. And we got a foul in the rebounding action. Unless that was a foul on the shot, I'm not sure now.
I believe it's a foul on Barassa.
Foul is on Barassa, his 1st. Rogers will be at the line. It's a 1-on-1. It was in the rebounding action as Barron checks in for the Raiders for Penny. It was on the shot, so Rogers will be at the line for 2. Shot by Rogers is no good, in and out.
Rogers having a decent night again for the Mounties.
Second shot by Rogers is good. He gets 1 out of 2. It's Rutland 65, MSJ 49.
That's his 16th point.
And Rogers scored 20 in the opening round game last night. Jeremy Carroll on a steal. He steals the ball from Sin. Carroll to the right side of the lane, out to Collins. Here the right sideline, dribbles toward the baseline, back to Carroll. Carroll into the lane, back out now to Rogers. On the bounce, it goes to Keenan. Lost control, picks it up again, out to Rogers, up for 3. no go. Rebound fought for, and it goes out of bounds. And it goes off MSJ as Jeremy Carroll. Rutland will control in the backcourt. Siebertson, Sin, Barron, Barassa, and Agnes right now for the Raiders. Carroll, Berezowski, Collins, Keenan, and Rogers for the Mounties. Sin with it left side of the lane. Short jumper, bang. Rutland 67, MSJ 49, 5:20 left in the ball game. Collins for three. It's good off the glass. Dan Collins from the right side of the circle, getting the three-pointer, I believe, his second three of the ball game. 67-52, Rutland high by 15. And Nagas drives baseline and lays it in. It's going to count. He got fouled. He got the feed from Barron, Jimmy, and Agnes. Opportunity for a three-point play for Rutland High. And let's see who they're going to call a foul on. 69-52, a 17-point Raider lead. It's on Berezowski, and he's got four. So Berezowski's got four, and also Collins, four for MSJ.
Jimmy looking for his 29th point right here.
And Jimmy and Agnes unofficially with 29 points as he hits the free throw to complete the three-point play. 70-52, Raiders lead it by 18. Carroll with it, left wing. Carroll on the bounce now to Rogers. Almost fell down. Got it to Carroll. Carroll dribbles into the lane. Lost the handle. Rogers saves to Berezowski, right sideline. Down low to Carroll. Spins in the lane. His shot deflected, but it goes to Rogers, and he lays it in. Shot might have been deflected by Sin. Rogers came down with it and laid it in easily. Rutland 70, MSJ 54. 4:33 left in the ball game. Siebertson out to Sin. Sin into the key. On the left, back to Siebertson. Siebertson dribbling around. Siebertson on the pass down low to Barassa at the baseline. His shot blocked by Rogers, but Barassa was traveling. So the Mounties will control in the backcourt.
Still very patient. The Raiders are being patient with their offense, not trying to force things, setting things up. The Mounties started to set their offense up too down here. They've got a couple of breaks. Rogers, fortunately for him, he got a couple of breaks. He's got some easy baskets. He's running his score up to 18 now.
Berezowski to Rogers, and Rogers lays it in. Got it down low and laid it in. Nice pass from Berezowski. 70-56 Raiders. Barron with it. Barron into the lane. He lays it up. No good. Barron the rebound. Head fakes back up. Blocked by Keenan. Berezowski was also there. Got a foul on one or the other. If it's on Berezowski, he's fouled out. It is on Berezowski. He's out of the ball game. Berezowski is fouled out for MSJ. Some changes now. Barron back in for Rutland. He'll be at the line. Anderson comes back in for Barassa now. Berezowski is just fouled out for MSJ. And Kyle Abel checks back in for MSJ to take Berezowski's place. A 14-point Raider lead. The Raiders lead the Mounties 70-56. 3:56 left in the ball game.
He's ending the night with 6 points, a quiet 6 points, but yet he's done a lot of big things for the Mounties tonight. He's been all over the place, made some good passes, and had some key rebounds.
Shot by Luke Barron is no good. He'll get another. Barron, Siebertson, and Agnes Sin, and Ben Anderson for the Raiders. Abel, Rogers, Keenan, Carroll, and Collins for the Mounties. Second shot by Barron is up, no good. Short, rebound to Collins. Collins dribbles up now for MSJ. Sends it ahead to Keenan. Keenan into the forecourt down the left sideline. Keenan looks left and shovels it out now for Collins. Collins halfway between the circles. On a bounce, wanted to go to Rogers, knocked away. Rogers goes to the deck and picks it up and saves it to Collins to Keenan. Keenan for three, no good. Rebound Rogers, right side of the lane, back up, around the rim, no good. Rebound Keenan, back up, no good. We got a whistle and a foul against Rutland. I believe it's on Anderson.
I'll agree with you.
It is on Ben Anderson. We got him for two. Both teams long since over the limit. Keenan will be at the line for two shots. We got a Raider timeout. 3:26 left in the ball game. It's Rutland 70, MSJ 56. The title game of the holiday tournament at the Keefe Gym. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back after this 30-second break.
That's 773-9107.
Jack Healey, Andy Rice at the Keefe Gym. We got a holiday hockey doubleheader tomorrow night. First round action. 5:20 broadcast time. MSJ and Hartford in game one, to be followed by Rutland and Holmass in game two. Andy will be there. Aaron Anderson. Sean Keenan at the line here for the Mounties for two shots. As the Raiders have a 14-point lead. Rutland 70 and MSJ 56. 3:26 left in the ball game. Joe Varsity is fouled out for MSJ, and Dan Collins is playing with 4 fouls. Keenan, 6'1" junior, fires up, and it's around the rim. No good. He'll get another.
Keenan's 4 for 6 from the line tonight with that miss there.
John Keenan fires up, and he's got that one. He gets 1 out of 2. Rutland leads at 70-57. Some full court Mountie pressure, and Agnes with it in the backcourt, picked up by Rogers. Jimmy and Agnes dribbles across the line now, chased by Rogers to the sideline to Pinney. Wanted to go to Anderson, knocked out of bounds by Abel.
Good defense by Abel right there to get the position on taller Anderson.
So Brian Pinney will put the ball into play from the baseline for Rutland. Looking around. Gets it in now to Sievertson. Into the lane. His jump hook is no good. It was blocked, but we got a foul, and it might be on Collins. If it is, Collins is out. It is on Dan Collins. He's fouled out of the ball game. So Varsity is fouled out. Collins is fouled out, and Sievertson will be at the line for 2.
Collins is going to end his night with 12 points, 2 3-pointers, 9 in the first half.
And Joe Lorman will check in for Dan Collins. And Sievertson at the line for 2 shots.
All of Sievertson's points tonight have come from the line. He's got 6 points so far.
Mike Sievertson, 6'1" senior. His shot is no good. He'll get another. 3:15 left in the ball game. The Raiders lead it by 13. 70-57. Second shot by Sievertson is no good. Rebound. Fought for it, comes down to Keenan. Keenan dribbles up for the Mounties into the forecourt. Dribbles left to right now, chased by Barron. Looks left, looks right, goes right sideline to Abel. Back out, he wanted to go to Keenan, almost lost to Keenan, got it back again as Barron almost picked it off. Keenan right sideline. Keenan dribbles toward the middle, pulls up for the 12-footer. It's no good. Rebound, Ben Anderson. Anderson outlet to Pinney. Down court he wanted to go. It was deflected, picked off by Carroll. Carroll to the key to the free throw line. On the bounce now to Rogers. Rogers cross court to Keenan, left sideline. Back out front to Rogers. Top of the circle up for 3. No good. Rebound, Ben Anderson. Outlet to Barron. Barron beats the pack and lays it in. Rutland 72, MSJ 57. The other way, Lorman chases it down left corner in the forecourt. Picked up by Sievertson off the man-to-man. Lorman on the bounce down low to Keenan, lays it up, no good. Rebound, Rogers up and good. And Rogers calls for the timeout. So Rogers got the offensive rebound for the bucket, immediately called for the timeout. 72-59, Rutland with the lead with 2:13 left in the ball game. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. The championship game. It was Essex over Mill River in the consolation game for third place, 73-49.
Matt Rogers having a big fourth quarter here for the Mounties. He's got 9 points here in the fourth quarter.
Len Olson getting the trophies ready. And Agnes, Sievertson, Barron, Pinney, and Anderson for the Raiders. Abel, Rogers, Lorman, Keenan, and Carroll for the Mounties. Will be Rutland basketball. Long pass by Pinney to Sievertson. Sievertson shot blocked by Rogers. Rogers getting back, continuously hustles, but back to block it out of bounds.
Nice play by Rogers. Good defense. Way to get back.
Raiders put the ball into play as Pinney gets it out to Barron, out to Sievertson in the key. Dribbles left to right. On the left wing, he goes to Jimmy and Agnes. And Agnes out front, he wanted to go to Barron. Barron will watch it and finally pick it up in the backcourt. Backcourt violation against the Raiders. Minute 56 left in the ball game, and the Raiders again will win their own holiday tournament here at the Keefe Gym. Lorman with it left sideline. Lorman picked up by Sievertson on the bounce to Abel, left baseline. Abel dribbles to the left sideline, out front to Carroll. Carroll on a battle with Pinney as they roll into the scores table. Pinney saved it to Barron. Barron now to Sievertson, drives baseline, lays it up, no good. He was fouled. He'll be at the line for 2. Great hustle by Pinney and Barron, and Actually, everybody battling for the basketball at the scorer's table here near sideline. As into the ball game for MSJ is Darryl Oskoski, and checking out is Kyle Abel.
That's Keenan's third foul. He picked up the personal there.
Yep, it was on Keenan. Sievertson at the line. Shot by Sievertson is no good. He'll get another. Brent Bliss checking into the ball game for Rutland High. Checks in for Ben Anderson. Mike Sievertson getting set for his second shot from the line. That one's good. He gets 1 out of 2. Rutland by 14. The Raiders lead at 73-59. Carroll into the forecourt down the right sideline. Carroll stops the dribble down low to Rogers. Rogers spins on the left to Keenan, up for 3. It's short, no good. Rebound to Pinney. Pinney covers up. Diligently covered by Rogers. Pinney goes ahead to Bliss. Bliss sends it to Pinney in the forecourt. Pinney pulls it up left wing. On the bounce right side to Luke Barron. Now to Jimmy and Agnes between the sideline and the key left side out front to Bliss. Now it goes to Sievertson right sideline. Down to Barron right side of the circle. The Raiders spreading it out. A minute left in the ball game. Down low to Anagnos. He lays it up. No good. A rebound to Keenan. Keenan dribbles up for MSJ into the forecourt. Keenan out front to Lorman. Halfway between the circles. Back to Keenan left side. Up for 3. No good. Short. Keenan the rebound at the left baseline. Back up. No good. He was fouled with 42 seconds left.
With Luke Barron's second foul.
It is on Luke Barron, number 2, as you mentioned, Andy. We'll have 2 J.P. Carrera and Sons MVPs at the end of the game. 1 for the Raiders, 1 for the Mounties. Russ Carrera got the J.P. Carrera and Sons Award for Mill River in that opening game.
Heads-up play by Keenan. That's what you teach your kids all along, all through the first stages of basketball. You take the shot and you follow your shot, and that's what he did. Got his own rebound and went up again.
Barassa in for Anagnos for Rutland. Barker in for Sievertson for the Raiders. John Barker, a 6'1 junior. Unofficially, Jimmy Anagnos sits down with 29 points. John Keenan at the line. His first shot is good. He'll get another. Raiders by 13, 73-60. They pretty much held on to that 13-point lead for most of the fourth quarter.
Big third quarter again for the Raiders.
Second shot by Keenan is no good. Rebound Oskoski, and he's fouled by Brent Bliss. Oskoski will be at the line for a 1-1. Actually, the Raiders led by 18 after 3, so the Mounties have cut into the lead a little bit here in the fourth quarter. Foul on Bliss, number 2. Oskoski at the line for a 1-1.
I should say they had a better second quarter than they did a third quarter tonight, but still they pieced the quarters together and they held on to that lead, like you said.
Oskoski's shot is no good, and the rebound goes to Barker. Barker now goes to Pinney. Brian Pinney into the forecourt down the middle. Brian Pinney for the Raiders, picked up by Jeremy Carroll. Dribbles left to right. Has it halfway between the circles. On the bounce left wing to Luke Barron. Luke Barron looking inside on the bounce to Barker. 22 seconds left in the ball game. Back to Barron. Barron looking inside. Back to Barker left sideline. Barker dribbles once. Looking, still looking. Dribbles again as it was knocked away. Finds Barron underneath. He lays it up. No good. Rebound to Keenan. 8 seconds left. Keenan throws it into the forecourt for Rogers, left side. Rogers back to Keenan, up for 3. It's no good. 1 second left. That's the ball game. And the Raiders have won it. Rutland High wins its own holiday tournament here at the Keep Gym. The 2 teams will meet at least twice more, including a week from tonight, right here at the Keep Gym. A week from tonight, January 4th. That's your final. Rutland 73, MSJ 60.